Okay, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Instagram, and today I just want to keep it quick to the point, talking about sales tips for contractors. And I wanted to talk about sales again because this week or this past week, I had a couple conversations with a few clients that had conversations with just prospects in general that we're trying to work with. And one client in particular, we usually don't do this, but for him, he needed some help calling certain leads. So I was helping him with that. Um, and he said, just call the last leads that we got this month. The leads that we got, let's say, 2 months ago and 3 months ago, don't even worry about those because he said that if they wanted something done, they would have already called them and they would have already got the job done. And I'm like, that kind of does make sense. Like, why would I spend time calling leads from like 3 months ago or 2 months ago if they're probably not interested anymore? And, I didn't just follow what he said. I wanted to see, like, what is actually true. We hate being, well, we don't hate it. We don't want to be right. We just want to make more money. So I wanted to see, okay, what happens if I do call the leads from like 2 or 3 months ago? And believe it or not, two of them were actually still looking. They didn't pick up the phone right away. One of them did, and he was still looking. But the other one did not pick up the phone. I texted them. I was like, "Hey, are you still like, hey, this is George from so and so. Are you still like looking for whatever X service, or did you find what you're looking for?" And the one texted me last night, later in the night. They're like, "Yeah, I'm still looking. I got this, and that." And then the one later today, they texted me back, and I'm like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Yeah, I'm looking for this, and that." I'm like, "All right, I'll get let's call him Johnny to give you a call." And so they did, and then I believe they booked the appointments now. But my point is that it doesn't matter if these leads are not answering to you. It's probably because of a reason. And if you're just calling them, make sure that you're also texting these people. Make sure that you're emailing them. There's all these different type of communication channels, and not every single person will use the same type of channel that you use to communicate. Some people love to text. Other people love to just talk on the phone because you can get a lot more information instead of trying to figure out what type of tonality the people are using. You can actually hear it from them on a call. And other people just like emailing back and forth. And other people just like the pigeon mail and like the normal mail, but we like fast, efficient communication, so we like to text people and email, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And so that's what we encourage our clients to do too. I thought that he had a point, and that the leads from 2 or 3 months ago were not that good or they weren't interested, but apparently they are. And apparently they're still looking for help. So I would encourage you, if you're watching this and you got leads from 2 months or even 3 months ago, and you haven't, or maybe you just put them as lost, you tagged them as lost or abandoned them, I would encourage you to pick up the phone, call them, and be like, "Hey, is Johnny there? Yeah, this is Johnny." I'd be like, "Hey, is John here from XYZ company? It looks like you opted in for whatever service a couple weeks ago on Facebook. I just had some time to get back to you. Are you still looking for help, or I guess have you found what you were looking for?" And then you just need to get into the conversation, because it would be unethical for you guys not to call them, not to contact them, because number one, you paid money for this lead, and number two, you don't know if these people have gotten what they were looking for, or if they're still looking. So it's unethical for us not to reach out when we might be able to help. So that's the one thing I want to talk about, is just to make sure that you're following up and staying in contact with all the previous leads, not just the hottest ones that are coming in right now. If you're just dealing with the hottest ones that are coming in right now, you're almost like let's call you a cashier. You're just expecting people to come through your funnel and them convince you to work with them. And I mean, if you're at that point, then that's amazing. But if you're at the point of not picking and choosing who you work with, you definitely got to make sure that you're good at sales. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. And then the second thing, I just want to recommend a couple books. The first book is Never Split the Difference. I couldn't find it there. I think somebody took it, um, which is fine. I mean, hopefully they've enjoyed the book. But it's one of my favorites. I think this book should be read before. Hey, how you doing, Carmela or Walter? But this book, Never Split the Difference, should be taught by the end of high school. And it's by a hostage negotiator. His name's Chris Voss. And he has also a masterclass that he teaches about negotiation, communication, and just speaking skills and listening skills, actually, more importantly. But great book. I would recommend anybody who wants to, I guess, get ahead in life to read that book. There's also audible version, and he does teach a master class. So that's my favorite book. I recommend to everybody. Never Split the Difference, and it actually teaches you how to lead with no. People are risk adverse. We want to say no when someone asks us something. Instead of getting people through a yes train, we can just lead with no, get them comfortable with us, let them know that we're not here to hurt them or do anything bad. We're here to help. So when you, I guess, build a safe space for the people, and you guys as contractors, when you build a safe space to be able to give a quote or a safe space to be able to do the work, and these people leave you at their property or their home and trust you that everything's going to go fine, there's going to be nothing stolen, and that you're going to get the job done right, it'll definitely help you. So that's one book I would recommend everybody read, Never Split the Difference, and just how to lead with no, asking no-oriented questions, I guess, labeling, mirroring people, and just getting people into a safe space for you to be able to have a good dialogue. That book I would recommend. And Bradley, I mean, like in the comments, you've read that book. What did you think if you're still here? Um, and I mean, other than that, that's the main things I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about number one, the sales part of how you should be checking in with previous leads. And number two, Never Split the Difference, how it's an amazing book that you guys should read. And not only read, but like actually study it. Because that book will definitely change the way that you might go about your day to day life. So I wanted to keep this one short. If there's any questions for next week, just DM me, message me, and I'll be talking about that next week. We'll possibly get someone to join me, maybe Jordan, maybe one of our clients if they're down for it, just so we can talk about maybe how it is working with us or what the process is like. Jordan actually today he wanted me to talk about Go High Level, which is the CRM that we're using for some of our clients. So I guess I'll talk about this before I leave. So there's different stages of you keeping track of your leads. So there will be the normal pen and paper that you're keeping track. I guess before that there might be a fourth. The first one could be like just in your head, which could be trouble if you're keeping the leads in your head. Don't want to be doing that. That could lead to a dangerous place. So don't keep leads in your head. The second one would be like pen and paper. And I mean, that's okay, but it's still, I mean, nowadays it's a very outdated. It's not going to be as efficient as you can be. And it's going to be like, you're going to be putting a lot of time, energy, and attention into that pen and paper where when you can just be dealing with like maybe a software that can help you visualize what stage of the process each lead or each contact is at. So if you're doing pen and paper, that could also be trouble for you. What happens if you lose that? Or what happens if you forget to like add whatever notes? That could be trouble. So pen and paper could be dangerous. The third step after that would be like keeping track in a Google Sheet. So you got name, email, phone number, maybe a couple notes or what the person's looking for, budget, funding, when they're looking to do this. And then that way, maybe you can use some color coordination. You can add notes to each cell or to each row, and then be able to know like what stage the person is at. But that still is going to be a lot better than keeping it in your head 100%. It's going to be a lot better than keeping it, let's say, on pen and paper, because pen and paper, you're going to have to flip through each page to then find that person you're looking for. With the Google Sheet, it's a lot faster and easier to find people because you can just hit Command F and then type in the name or the number, and then it'll highlight that person. Or by the color coordination, you'll know where to focus your attention. Maybe with the people who are almost ready to close, or the people you've given quotes to so that you can call them. Um, but then there's one more step after that. Once you already got a good lead flow on your Google Sheet and it's getting a little bit confusing, that's when we would suggest a CRM. We love Go High Level because number one, it automates everything. So a few people might be familiar with Zapier. Zapier connects all the apps on the internet, well, most of them, so that you can automate things. And it works off of if this happens, then make that happen type of logic. So um, Zapier, if you use Go High Level, there's no more need to be using Zapier because Go High Level has its own automation. You can email, text people, call them from the app itself. The main reason we use Go High Level though is because of the pipeline feature, the opportunity feature. You're gonna be able to see leads from a new lead to contacted them, messaging, called them, or booked an appointment to, you gave them a quote to now you started the job. And then that way you're gonna be able to see every single lead in each column depending on what stage of the process they're at, and it's gonna really help you be able to focus your attention on the people who are more warm over the people who are not really so warm and still need a lot more, I guess, part of the sales cycle for you to be able to convert them. So that's the last thing I guess I wanted to talk about. First thing is the sales tip. Make sure that you're checking in, and it would be unethical for you not to check in with the older leads, even if they're 2-3 months from the past. Second thing is I want to recommend the book, which is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Great book, should be mandatory to read before high school. And then the third thing I want to talk about is the Go High Level and the CRM, how you keep track of your leads. There's pen and paper, which you should not be using. There is, I guess, before that, on your head, which you should not be relying on your head just to keep track of leads. Then there's pen and paper, then there's a Google Sheet, and then there's actually a CRM software. And by the way, Go High Level does everything: sites, automation, so like it can follow up for you, keep track of the leads, keep track of your pipeline value. There's a lot of things that it can do. Whatever you can imagine to do, it'll probably do. So let me know if you guys have any questions for next week. I'll be talking here with either Jordan or one of our clients, and we'll talk soon. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Bye.